Number 7, Emily Price says, I just came into a lead role in a local ministry where many of the other adults are older than I. I want to be confident, but not cocky. Firm, but able to learn. Any tips? Thank you for your ministry. So Paul writes to Timothy, let no one despise your youth. We have that statement from Paul to Timothy. And I think people interpret that in different ways. I've seen people interpret it, oh, so, hey, you can't despise me just because I'm young. Almost like it's a pride and arrogance thing. I think what Paul probably meant, my impression is, he meant, Timothy, you're young, but don't act like it. And there's something to be said for this. Do not just act your age. Doesn't mean you can't be a little goofy or fun, but he means there are certain things. Okay, the older you get, the more you realize this. But let's say, even if you're 17, you guys know what I mean. Look at how irresponsible 4-year-olds are. Right? Look at how they think they know things they don't know anything about. If they had more responsibility, more of a seriousness, more of a care for others and not concerned for themselves, and a little bit more of thoughtful reflectiveness, sure, they'd be better. Now, I don't expect that much of 4-year-olds. But if you're a young person serving a ministry, you have to labor extra hard to be walking in wisdom and thoughtfulness. And to, like you said, you want to listen to them, building that bridge. Hey, is there anything that I can learn from you? Pull them aside and ask them. It's difficult to build that connection with people if you're leading, where they feel comfortable telling you how they feel about how the ministry's going. They'll talk to each other about it. That's our sin natures naturally do that. But getting them to feel comfortable talking to you about it is very difficult to do, something you might labor towards. So you want to be confident but not cocky. I would say never let your confidence be greater than it is. So as a leader, you can feel like you have to make a decision. Then you're looking around to see if everybody's falling in line. These types of things, what happens in leadership is the same thing I think that happens in marriage, because I've done both, is all my insecurities just come right to the surface. And so then I can get weird. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about what people say behind your back. Don't worry about that person who's giving you a weird look or who you think doesn't really respect you. Don't inflate it and make it bigger than it is, because then you will treat them like a problem instead of a resource and a ministry partner. You just have to overlook all those things, and you just have to say, look, I'm just called to be faithful. This is the clarity I've got. Let's go for it. Maybe I don't know about that. Then I'm not going to pretend I do. These are some of the tips that I would give you. And time. I remember when I was brought into youth ministry as the pastor, for the students, not the counselors, but for the students, this was interesting. It was like 2 years before they looked at me like I was their pastor. I don't know how to explain it other than that. There's something about serving in longevity in ministry that your first year is the most difficult, and then your second year is also very difficult. But over time, you develop the skills, you understand your job better, and you look back at your first year and you're like, what was I didn't know what I was doing, and then you realize that it was just a learning process. So be patient is the last thing that I'll suggest.